friends. Thank you, Sam, for that introduction. I'm extremely honoured to be here and to have been invited to compose a song in honour of Cesar. All we know about Cesar is that he appears in the parish records, and the entry simply states, Cesar, a slave of Mr MacDonild, baptised 23rd of January 1750. So first of all, I assumed that Cesar was buried here in this churchyard, and I spent quite a long time yesterday when I arrived trying to find the grave, but there isn't one. And that's because we actually don't know where Cesar is buried, or indeed what happened to his body, if he even died in Hartlepool or in this country at all. We just don't know. And this is something that I found repeats and repeats in my research about our historic black populations in Britain, is that very many of the enslaved Africans who were trafficked as part of the transatlantic slave trade, there is no record of their burial. We don't know if we will ever find where they were buried or what happened to them when they died. But there wasn't always the honouring of human life that should have taken place. So, as you'll know from your programmes, records as to the estimated numbers of black people in this country in the past, they do vary. Numbers that were published in the 18th century vary between 10 and 20,000. You can read different figures. Queen Elizabeth I in 1596 wrote a very angry letter to the Lord Mayor of London stating that there were too many blackamoors in 1596, and that they needed to be deported. So this is a very, very, very long history, but it goes back a whole lot further than that, to at least Roman times. And today, this is going to be a bit different. This isn't one of my usual performances. That's happening later on in the Borough Hall this evening. What I wanted to do today is to honour Cesar. I had been thinking of him as a man, but actually it's perfectly possible that Cesar was a child, was baptised as a child. Children were cheaper to buy because there was less that they could do in the way of work, and because you had to look after them a bit and provide for them. So that's a possibility that we have to consider. But that's what I am here to do today, and that's what we're going to do, is we're going to honour Cesar and all of his fellow enslaved black ancestors here in Hartlepool and in Britain as a whole. So thinking about, I'm going to say a little bit to you now about the song and then sing it, and I hope you'll join me because I've written a part for you. That's part of it. You'll find out why in a sec. I'm so happy to see you all. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. So in thinking about the very serious question of how to honour Cesar, my first idea was that I wanted to learn a traditional African burial song or funerary song. So I began to research these, and I very quickly realised that there's no way that we can ever know which country within the continent of Africa that Cesar would have come from, or which of the many, many, many diverse African cultures he would have belonged to. There's no way of knowing that. So I thought better of that original idea. And then I moved on to researching as many African funeral rituals and customs as I could, including the burial and funeral customs of the trafficked and enslaved African populations and their descendants in the Caribbean and in the Americas and elsewhere that there were plantations in the world. So these would be African-derived syncretic funeral practices, and I was looking for commonalities. I thought if I can pick out some common themes, that's somewhere to go. Something that kept coming up was community. In African burials and burial traditions of the African diaspora, community is vital, it's so important. Gathering, togetherness, community. Community is power, community is the way of love. And community is something that Cesar and those like him are, I think, likely to have been deprived of. And that's something we can give him today. We can give him this community. It's temporary, but it's no less a community, I think. It's no less valuable for that. And in our togetherness, we can offer that to Cesar as we help sing him back into the arms of his ancestors. That's the theme of the song. Another theme that I found amongst the displaced African people in the plantations was a belief, a widespread belief, that on death, the soul of the departed returns to Africa, returns to the land. So that's something for us to keep in mind too, isn't it? Upon death, the soul of the departed returns to Africa. So that belief is not referenced in the song, but it informs it, so it's running all the way underneath, and I just wanted you to know about that. So, in thinking about community, I wanted to think about all the things that unite us, because that's the most important thing, isn't it? That's where our power is as humans to do healing in the world, the things that unite us. So in the song you will hear references to the waters, the waterways, the sea, the rivers that traverse the planet, and the land. And all of these things unite us to natural light, the light of the moon, the light of the sun, the light of stars, to the natural light which also unites us. Perhaps most importantly, the air that we breathe. I often forget to think about the air because it's just there, isn't it? I take it for granted that I'm able to breathe it. But the air that we breathe takes no notice whatsoever of our differences, and we all share it. And we're sharing it right now. When we sing, the power of our collective voices, using the breath, is an extraordinary thing. It's a wonderful thing to hear, it's a wonderful thing to witness. I think something spiritual happens when people all sing together. So I'd really love it if we could do that today and help to sing Cesar back into the loving ancestral arms. So, oh yes, before we begin, the other thing, in the first verse you'll hear references to swallows, members of the Hirondelle family of birds, which are visitors, annual visitors from Africa. They also use the air. They fly in the air. It's a very, very arduous journey, so these birds rely a lot on thermals to carry them through the air and help them. Many birds don't survive because the journey is extremely arduous. So they also appear in the song as inhabitants of the air and visitors from Africa. So, are you ready to join in? It's an invitation, you don't have to at all, and nobody will mind. Cesar won't mind, I don't mind, if you choose not to participate. But I composed this song so that the power of our collective voices will help to just really to honour Cesar. It's an honouring of Cesar and all of those like him, and to send him back with love to the arms of his ancestors. So, if you're on this side of the room, your part is a hum. If you're on this side of the room, your part is a hum also, but it's a little bit different. So bear with me, one sec. Thank you. Lovely. If you can't get down there, you can either do the humps an octave higher or stay on the first note, so it goes. Okay, but if you can, go. Thank you. So on this side, we're starting on the same note. You've got a bit more of an interesting part on this side of the room. Lovely. Does everyone who wants to join in, do you all feel happy about that? Are we ready to go? Okay. Let us join in singing Cesar and all of those like him back into the loving ancestral arms. Ocean, a river, shining a stream, sun's cold ray, moon's cold beam, carry them back into the arms, the ever-loving ancestral arms. Shimmering stars guide their flight into eternal sheltering night, safe in the arms, safe in the arms, the ever-loving ancestral arms. We sing thee into the loving 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 ancestral arms. We will soon go into a short silence for Cesar and all of the silence by beginning a simple spoken word chant, which I would really invite you to join in with me. So I'll say it over a few times so that you get it. And then the second part of the ceremony will be, if you just watch and follow me, I'm going to go and collect one of the roses from this wreath that I've made for Cesar here. I'll collect one of the roses and just walk very slowly out. If you would like to, I'd love it if you could follow me. So we can all say the chant together as we do this. And then just process in silence out of the church and leave your rose anywhere you like in the churchyard. He isn't buried here, so you can leave it anywhere. Watch your fingers. I wasn't able to remove the thorns. But if we could then leave the grounds continue the silence until we leave the grounds to honour the ancestors, that would be a really beautiful thing. So I hope that makes sense. Just watch me at the end and follow me if you would like to join in. Thank you so much. Let us now go into a short silence. We carry thee upon our breath back into the arms of the ancestors. We carry thee upon our breath back into the arms of the ancestors. We carry thee upon our breath back into the arms of the ancestors. We carry thee upon our breath back into the arms of the ancestors. Into the arms of the ancestors. We carry thee upon our breath back into the arms of the ancestors.